So there's another thing not to add to your dialogue tips is hitting people on the head with a staff. All right, it's finally time for another Apologist Reacts video. I've gotten lots of movie suggestions in the comments. Thank you for posting those. And so I've gotten a couple suggestions for some different Disney movies. So I thought I'd do kind of a Disney compilation with a scene from Lion King, as well as a few scenes from Frozen 2. So just in case you haven't been here before, I'm an apologist. And so I am analyzing these scenes to tell you what are the kinds of things that people are doing in these scenes that are helpful for a dialogue or a debate, and what are the things that are not so helpful, because we all know that we could use help talking to each other about difficult issues right now. And so hopefully this is just kind of a fun way to take a look and offer some dialogue tips. And then at the end of each scene, I will give each character a rating on a scale of 1 to 10 on how well they did in that dialogue. So without further ado, let's take a look at the scene from The Lion King. This is so weird. Rafiki's like my favorite character in this movie just for the ninja scene at the end alone, but I'm still wondering, like, I'm starting to second guess how many dialogue tips am I actually going to be able to pull from this scene that are actually relatable to humans, because he's acting so weird.
Come on, will you cut it out?
Can't cut it out. It'll go right back.
Creepy little monkey. Will you stop following me? Who are you?
The question is, who are you?
Okay, so let's take a try at applying this to our dialogues. So Rafiki's not being very transparent, and that's annoying. You can see Simba's defenses are up because not only is this guy acting weird, I'm going to call him a guy. He's a person. He's clearly a person in this universe. He's acting weird, and maybe he's trying to keep Simba's defenses up. Maybe the mysterious thing is like what he's going for. But I think, like, unless you're a sage or whatever, like Rafiki, then generally speaking, being more forthright with what you're doing, what you want, why you have come to engage with this person is going to be better than being like clever and mysterious and mystical or whatever. There's a dialogue tip for you.
I thought I knew. Now I'm not so sure.
Well, I know who you are. Shh, come here. It's a secret.
That's so annoying. Like, don't act like Rafiki. I think that's just going to be basically my lesson of this thing. Like, as fun as he is to watch, this is not who you want to emulate in your dialogues. Like, this is Simba's core question of his life, right? Like, who am I, and how he relates to his father and all of that. And so, like, Rafiki kind of like acts like he's going to tell him. He's like, I know, this huge secret of like your actual identity, and then start singing the obnoxious song in his ear again. Like, oh my gosh, that is so annoying. Don't be Rafiki.
Enough already. What is that supposed to mean anyway?
It means you're a baboon, and I'm not.
Like, man, he won't even answer his question. Like, Simba's asking is like a legit question and he's not answering it. That's also obnoxious. It's really funny, but it's also obnoxious.
I think you're a little confused.
Wrong. I'm not the one who's confused. You don't even know who you are.
Okay, so also the physical touching, if you don't know the person, like, definitely be careful about that. I wouldn't recommend that at all. But his response about how, Simba's the one who's confused because he doesn't know who he is better. This is a better moment, I think, from Rafiki. I would ask it, I would state it in a different way. I think there's a way to do that that's going to make the person feel less defensive. Like, maybe I'm confused, but it seems like we're both confused because you just said you don't even know who you are. Or there's some version of that that's better and less pointed and annoying. Again, these are things that work well in movies, but don't work well in real life.
Suppose you know.
Sure do. You're Mufasa's boy.
There it is. Finally.
Bye.
And then he runs away. So here's something not to do. Don't tell someone something huge and then run away.
You knew my father?
Correction. I know your father.
I hate to tell you this, but he died a long time ago.
Nope. Wrong again. He's alive. And I'll show him to you. You follow old Rafiki. He knows the way. Come on.
Just skipping forward.
What was that? The weather. Very peculiar. Don't you think?
Yeah. Looks like the winds are changing.
Change is good.
Yeah, but it's not
I like
easy.
that.
I know what I have to do, but going back means I'll have to face my past. I've been running from it for so long. Ow! Jeez, what was...
So there's another thing not to add to your dialogue tips is hitting people on the head with a staff. Don't do that.
What's that for?
It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
Yeah, but it's...
So this is a classic example of the person in the movie who's super sharp and has all these witty one-liners being so fun to watch, and yet is something that you should almost never do in real life. This kind of pointed, not only am I going to physically hurt you, but to do it in a way to kind of spin it, turn his words against him to kind of show, okay, well, clearly things in the past can matter. They can still hurt after. It's a right point. Rafiki's right about the principle here and Simba's wrong. But there's so many better ways to make the point. Again, in real life, it's fun to watch in movies. This is not the way to handle the dialogue in real life.
Still hurts.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt.
I like that moment, though. Now he's being this, comforting. He's actually comforting him. It's okay, that's better. Finally, I'm liking what he's doing better.
But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. You see?
That's kind of fun, too. I like how he kind of went at him again, but he's excited that Simba ducked, and he's yes, he's acting more like a coach now. I really like that.
What are you going to do?
First, I'm gonna take your
He's
stick.
playful.
No, not a stick. Hey, where are you going?
I'm going back.
Good. Go on, get out of here.
I like how at the end there, it's very, very playful. He's yelling, "Get out of here!" but he's loudly laughing and whooping, clearly, Simba's gonna know, it's a good thing. He's not being a jerk, and so so generally that's not the best way to end a dialogue, but in this case, it clearly makes sense for the movie. So, all right, so I would give Rafiki a 2 out of 10 for the physical assaults, and I'll give Simba. He was doing pretty good. He was being pretty transparent. You notice he's even being he's kind of stating his annoyance. He's not beating around the bush. I'll give Simba a 7 out of 10. I felt like he was actually pretty good in that dialogue. He's the character who needs the most help in that moment, needs the most the biggest worldview shift or whatever. But as far as how he handled himself in the dialogue, I mean, Rafiki's lucky he didn't eat him as soon as he hit him with the stick. So anyway, it was pretty good. All right, now let's take a look at a few scenes from Frozen 2 that were recommended to me in the comments. I really enjoyed this movie. I know there's some people that don't like this that much, but I really, really like Frozen 2. And there's a fantastic behind-the-scenes documentary about it on Disney Plus if you are a subscriber to that. So let's take a look at Frozen 2.
They're both asleep. So, what do you want to do?
Sven, keep us steady, will you? Anna. Anna. Remember our first trip like this when I said you'd have to be crazy to want to marry a man you just met?
Wait, what? Crazy? You didn't say I was crazy. You think I'm crazy?
So much happens there real fast. They're really playing off this thing where, you know that thing that you see on movies and TV shows where the communication is failing and the person keeps on misinterpreting the other person over and over and over, and that is basically the cause of the drama. Like, that is a thing in Frozen 2 for sure. So, yes, could Kristoff have started this better? Yes, he could have. It's like, that's a bold move, Cotton, like that kind of thing. But I feel like at this point, like, they've known each other for long enough that Anna should be a lot more charitable and not freaking out on him like this and just assuming that what he means is he's calling her crazy in like the worst possible way, that clearly he means it in the figure of speech kind of way. Like, hey, I mean, again, this is like not with the way to start a proposal, you know? You remember how I said that you shouldn't have proposed to that last guy like really fast? Like, obviously it's a bad lead-in to the proposal. So he's doing not great. But also, C is just like so instantly defensive and uncharitable that it works really well. It's funny, but it also, this could have been cleared up really fast, right? Like if C had just said like, what do you mean crazy? Like what do you mean by that? And then he might have been able to kind of course correct and have this, and then she'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah, you're right. That was dumb. You know, like that could have been the way this could have gone, but of course, that's not the way it's going to go. Let me go back just a little bit.
To marry a man you just met?
Wait, what? Crazy? You didn't say I was crazy. You think I'm crazy?
No, I did. You were. Not crazy. Clearly.
Yeah, so double downs and now is walking it back. This is the case where you're going to kind of just have to commit. Like, what did you mean? Like, okay, like pause. Okay, I'm sorry. I think you're taking this not in the way that I meant. Here's what I meant. When I said I agree. I'm sorry. That was the wrong word. What I mean is that it wasn't wise. It wasn't the best idea. You know, like there's something like that Kristoff could do right now and try to de-escalate this entire situation. But let's see what he does.
Just naive. Not naive. Just.
I love her moving further away. That is so good. No, note her body language. If you're Kristoff in the scene, this body language is screaming, what is going on? I don't like this. Your move, right?
New to love, like I was. And when you're new, you're bound to get it wrong.
So you're saying I'm wrong for you?
What?
Okay, I mean, get like Kristoff. Oh, my dude, you need so much help. But he's doing better, right? I think, main lesson from this is don't start your proposal by talking about your hopefully bride-to-be's weaknesses or mistakes in the past. I know, like, he's trying to get this, like, contrast it with his situation, but it's not the best move. But here's this thing where, again, there's, like, this complete miscommunication, this failure to, they're just missing each other. The fact that C is interpreting him to say that Anna is wrong for him, as opposed to what he was trying to say is that Anna and Hans weren't right for each other, which is like, duh. I mean, obviously, at this point, again, it's just one of those things where in real life, because be so quickly like, okay, wait a minute. Sorry, okay, let's pause. Like, you've got to de-escalate. Everyone needs to slow down on the assumptions happening. And there's a lot of assumptions happening really fast. And this is the point where you're kind of like, okay, wait, I'm sorry. Can we start this over? I think I screwed this up. Can we just let me try again? I mean, he's kind of stuck. It's pretty hard to just end the conversation here because he's now offended her. Like, you've got to try to deal with that, but just apologize, throw yourself on the sword, be like, it's not what I meant. I'm sorry. And try to get her in a place where then C is going to be able to hear him if he tries to say, here's what I meant, or whatever, or tries to end the conversation in some kind of a gracious way.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong or crazy. I'm saying that...
Kristoff, stop, please.
Good idea.
Good idea. That's true. So that's very unfortunate. And this can happen in real life, right? Where you're having a really important conversation and then some major interruption happens, they get a phone call and they have to take it or whatever. And you can't always prevent that. I think like if you're in Anna's shoes, it's important to kind of have respect for the fact that, you know, this is an important conversation. People's feelings are getting hurt, and don't let that get interrupted or ended prematurely if there's any way to avoid that. Like, don't be looking at your phone if you're just getting like text messages. Or if you get a phone call and like, you know, it's not that important. Like, I think sometimes people could do a better job of not getting distracted by things like their phones or whatever, especially in an important conversation like this. And if you're on Christoph's side, you know, if you're the person where it does get interrupted and there's nothing you can do, then you just kind of have to try to be as gracious as you can, be as understanding as you can. Okay, yeah, I totally get it. Definitely take the call. That's really important. We'll pick this up again later, you know. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I screwed up. We can jump back into it later. Or it's like something like that, right? It would be just like you try to make this kind of quick transition out that kind of lets them off the hook, but also kind of hopefully lays some foundation for a future very important conversation, right? Okay, so then skipping forward in the movie.
The dam. It still stands. It was in Grandpappy's visions. But why?
I don't know, but it's still in good shape, thank goodness.
What do you mean?
Well, if that dam broke, it would send a tidal wave so big it would wash away everything on this fjord.
Everything? But Arendelle's on this fjord.
Nothing's gonna happen to Arendelle, Anna. It's gonna be fine. Come here.
No, this is not when you propose. You don't propose right when you've all discovered that there is a dam that if it breaks is going to flood your entire town. And she's clearly anxious about it, rightfully so. And the fact that it's also possibly connected to previous stuff. Like, this is not the moment. Stop. Don't go into the light. He's getting bad advice from his reindeer friend. I know the scene is beautiful. Like, it's gorgeous around there, the autumn leaves and everything. But man, you got to pick your moments.
You know, under different circumstances, this would be a pretty romantic place. Don't you think?
Different circumstances? You mean like with someone else?
What? No.
What? I mean, come on, Anna. Like, what is your problem? Like, she has major trust issues. Clearly. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, it would be so interesting to watch, like, a psychologist. There's a couple of psychologists that have sometimes watched scenes from movies, like, more like romantic scenes, and they're kind of doing, like, relationship advice. Kind of, if I find it, I'll link to it in show notes. I love any kinds of reacts videos. Like, fighter pilots and doctors and all this. That's why I started making these. I love this style of video, getting an expert from some field reacting to scenes from movies or TV shows. So it would be so interesting to watch a therapist like, okay, see, probably this is connected to childhood wounds that you're going to get more of a sense of in the first movie. Like something like that. I'm not a therapist, so I can't speak to that. But man, she has some major trust issues and it's really coming out. And this should be a yellow flag. Like maybe instead of jumping to a proposal, like maybe they should be trying to work on these issues. Why is she so constantly thinking that he is saying that she's not right for him? Like, why is she not feeling safe and stable and secure in this relationship? Like, it's like she constantly thinks that he's looking for a better match or something like that. Like, my goodness, he's hugging her and saying this is like a romantic moment, and she's instantly going to, by different circumstances, you mean with another girl, as opposed to lost in the woods, you know? Oh my goodness.
No, I'm saying, just in case we don't make it out of here.
Wait, what? You don't—
Okay, he started that well. Here's what I'm saying. He's doing that thing that we teach. Here's what I'm not saying. Here's what I'm saying. What I'm actually saying, it's not that other thing. It's this thing. But then he ends it with this kind of Debbie Downer, just in case we don't make it out of here. Like, that's not the... Come on. you don't want that to be anywhere in your proposal unless it's like actually like, okay, so like I get it in, was it Deep Impact where Frodo, gets married to what's her face? Because it's like they literally know it's probably their last day or days on Earth. And so they get married. They're like, childhood sweethearts. Like that makes sense to me. Okay. Anything in like the realm of like Independence Day happens and the aliens show up in a really threatening way. And you think maybe this is our last day and you want to real quick get married to the person that you've been, in love with for years or whatever. Okay, fine. Muscle tough. I get it. But don't generally start a proposal with, in case we don't make it out of the woods.
Wait, what? You don't think we're gonna make it out of here?
No, we will make it out of here. Well, technically the odds are kind of complicated, but my point is, in case we die...
You think we're gonna die?
No. We will die at
Where's
some point.
Elsa?
Not in
I
any
swore
recent
that I wouldn't
time
leave
will
her
we die,
side.
but just way far in the
Elsa?
future, we will die. Don't patronize me.
It's so good. This movie is so good. All of that is just so gold. And yet the worst possible thing that could happen to you in real life. All right, let's take a look. There's one more follow-up scene.
Actually, there is one more thing. Anna, you are the most extraordinary person I've ever known. I love you with all I am. Will you marry me?
See, if he had just said that from the beginning, if he could have said that on the carriage and it would have been fine. He could have said that in the woods. Maybe, again, the timing wasn't great there, but that's the way to do it. He did the perfect proposal. So, all's well that ends well, right? But man, that is a lesson in how these dialogues can go better. All right. So for this, I'll just kind of combine these three scenes and give ratings. So Kristoff, I'm going to give, my goodness, it's like 3 out of 10, just for like lack of clarity and really bad timing and saying things that are not helpful. Like, we teach at ERI that you should make clarity completely your responsibility, which is different. Like a lot of apologists would say, like maybe it's like 50-50, They share half of that responsibility. And just we think about it differently, partially because if you follow us, like you are really into dialogue or apologetics, and you probably have thought about issues like this, whether it's abortion or some other issue, more than the average person, or even just like good dialogue habits. And so I think that then it's okay for you to bear more of the responsibility. And if you do, then you are going to be working extra hard to be as clear as possible, to make sure that you're not misunderstanding them as much as possible. It's just going to make the dialogue better. And these scenes are kind of a funny example of why it's important to be as clear as possible. Like Kristoff really screwed up those conversations. He could have hurt Anna, pretty badly. Although, to be fair, she clearly has some major trust issues that need to get dealt with by like a professional or whatever is the equivalent of a professional in Arendelle or whatever. Regardless, that's going to be the case. A lot of the people that we talk to, everyone needs some therapy, at least some therapy. I think some people need therapy more than others, but I think basically everyone can really benefit from seeing a therapist. You're going to talk to a lot of people that are in that situation too. And here's one more reason to try to be as clear as possible is you could actually cause a lot of pain by being super unclear or just starting really heavy conversations, whether it's a proposal or something else at the wrong time. Like this is why I've argued, I've got a couple of articles that I wrote a few years ago around Thanksgiving that were kind of like pro-life tips around Thanksgiving. And I have a take that's different than a lot of my colleagues in apologetics. They're like, here's the perfect time. You've got family members around. Let's talk about abortion. And I'm kind of like, yeah, usually not. This is actually probably not the best time to talk about a subject like abortion around the Thanksgiving dinner table when everyone just wants to kind of relax and have a good conversation. And there's a lot of people around, which is going to probably have a negative, not positive effect on you persuading a given person, Obviously, if they bring it up, if your super pro-choice aunt brings it up, then that's another thing. And therefore, I give some tips in those articles. I'll link to them in the description. But that's why I think that timing matters to these conversations. You need to pick your timing well if you're going to have a heavy conversation. And Kristoff's not good at that. So I'll give him a 3 out of 10. I can't give him as low as Rafiki. He never physically hurt Anna. Maybe he should get a 4. I don't know. Whatever. And Anna, man, I'm going to give Anna a 3 too. Or like, I mean, again, like I don't feel like I can rate her as low as Rafiki, but yeah. So I'll give her a 3 and I'll give him a 4. He gets a 4. C gets a 3. They both stunk in those first couple of conversations, and they've got a lot of work to do. But luckily, they're going to get married, and you know the way it usually goes. You know, you learn, you fight a lot in the first year. They've got a lot of fighting they're going to do in their first year of marriage, and hopefully that it gets better. They kind of figure out each other's idiosyncrasies and how best to communicate and hear each other, and hopefully they'll have a very happy rest of their marriage. If you enjoy dialogue tips like this, I want to recommend, I think you would benefit a lot from our Equipped for Life course, which has 8 practical dialogue tips where we kind of go through piece by piece. Here are some things that you can do to make your conversations go a lot better than they would if you don't use those dialogue tips. And we also jump into pro-life apologetics as well and talk about the arguments that we found to be the most persuasive when we talk to pro-choice people. And so I'll even give you a discount. If you use the coupon code YouTube, you can get 10% off a permanent membership of the Equipped for Life course. So hopefully that will further your journey to being an effective dialoguer and or pro-life advocate. Okay, that's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe and comment. Let me know other scenes you would like me to cover in the future. And of course, go have an important conversation.